Can you see and hear us?
How's everything for you?
What's up?
How's everyone doing?
They're chatting.
I was not in the bathroom, guys. I was waiting for Flavia.
I was here just posting stuff on everywhere so people can join us. You're interacting so much. I love it.
That's lovely.
Is there sound yet? There should be. Can you hear us? We are talking and talking. Imagine if they can't hear us.
Yeah. How is the sound? Is the sound okay?
I'm feeling so much excitement. Me too.
Yay.
Yes, perfect. Okay.
Fabiesh looking fine behind you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I painted this. I think it was before yesterday, and he was saying the same thing, David.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can hear us. Sound is good.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, for a second I was scared because every time we need to set things up, and then I put the microphone, in, and then I didn't ask Flavia anything because she was doing other things here.
Yeah.
And every time I asked her, like, is this okay? And then someone said echo, and I'm like, oh my God, did I do something wrong? Which is likely. So
happens. I wish we could change it in the middle of the live, On YouTube, they don't offer this.
Yeah, that's not okay, because then we would have to get another link, which is not okay. Okay, guys, so yep, we have Yeshua here today. He said that he could bring friends if needed, but so far it's only him and Mary Magdalene, which is like a package deal, But yeah, how are you guys feeling today?
Also, before I forget saying it, we are not going to go in order. Like I usually I stop the chat and then I go question by question. What we would do instead this time, as we have a lot of people already, we just gonna grab the first question that shows up here. So if we don't answer your question, please copy it and paste it in the chat again so we can see it.
Yeah, because last time we missed everything that was being said in the chat, and then we needed to go down and up and down. So it's easier for us if we don't answer you after we are done with a question. You post your question again. So copy it already, just write it down and copy it. So then you know when to paste it if needed.
Yes.
Let's see just how it's gonna go. Maybe he
answers your question within another.
Yeah, there's that too. So keep that in mind. But sometimes there's not so much happening. So yeah.
Yes. How are you both?
Love the drawing behind you, Flavia.
Yeah. It was Annie. Can you believe it?
You're such an asshole sometimes. Don't even try. Can you believe it? Jeez.
Yeah. It looks beautiful. I love it too.
I copied it from something else and then I changed a few things. So it's not even my drawing, so I can't even take a lot of credit for it. Like the thing in his nose, because the original drawing didn't have it. And I'm like, that you need that. So
and the smile.
Yeah. The other, I don't know why people always want to paint him and draw him and make sculptures of him looking sad or bleeding. That's just
sad.
Why? Yeah. How are you feeling, Flavia? They're asking us.
I'm good. Today and yesterday as well was so hard to wake up. Don't know, too much energy. I don't know. It was just super hard. I took hours to get out of bed. But then, I don't know, I could clean the living room and this makes me feel so good. So I'm really
like Monica
really
and Friends.
Yeah.
That's what she looks like.
Yeah.
Not friendly.
I look crazy when I'm cleaning.
Which is awesome though, because now it's so good. I've been feeling weird the whole day, honestly. Because of the collective belief that Yeshua's demonstration in the crucifixion happened today. It's like it's in the air, right? So we chose like one day to celebrate, is that the word? To remember that,
No.
So it's like I can feel that in the air, and so many memories come back to me. Sometimes the past like couple of days, I would just close my eyes sometimes and I would see images of the crucifixion, which is never fun. um, so I've been feeling a little weird,
Yeah.
a little nostalgic, a little sad, and then it comes, oh, it's great. And then, I've been feeling things in my body too, like places where he was hurt. I feel it in my body sometimes, which is also weird. So yeah.
Not so much fun, that part.
Yeah, not very. But then there's him, and he's excited to talk to you guys and excited to, you know, do this. So, and then I don't. I try not to get attached to the suffering, because, in truth, there was no suffering for him. He didn't feel any pain. He was a very very trained master in alchemy at that point. So he he didn't feel any pain. He started getting very weak because, well, again, every time, disclaimer, there are timelines and timelines and timelines. So that might not be the timeline. You've heard someone else talking about it. It's not our point to discredit anything you've heard. But yeah, that's how he shows it to me. That's how I experienced it in my lifetimes, in those timelines that was there. So that's how I tell you about it. So anything I tell you is just our own perception and the way that he brings it to us. But yeah, so he wasn't suffering, but it's still, that's very hard to see. That's something that is very very traumatizing to participate, right? So there's like the human in me that is still, when I'm presented with those images, those gruesome images. And it's not even like so much the images, but how the people felt, because I have like a connection with both Mary Magdalene and Sarah, and they were both there in some timelines. So I could feel what people were feeling as Sarah. And it's so confusing, because some people were excited, some people were very sad. And so every year, I didn't know that until I started channeling him. That's why I would feel so bad, in that period, even in the Lent period and all that. So yeah, that's weird. So then I feel a little off sometimes.
Yeah. Did they prepare Sarah for the crucifixion?
Yes, and in some timelines she did not participate, not her um or any of the kids. But in some, she was there because she was part of an alchemic process that needed her energy there to support Yeshua. And I can see both. I can see myself with someone that was Mother Mary's very very close friend, and we were not in the crucifixion, we were somewhere else in a house. And I can see myself in the crucifixion. I can see the images that come the strongest for me as Sarah is people walking, and watching Yeshua walking by, and the confusion is like, why are they doing this to him? I love him so much. Why are people doing this? And he doesn't look happy, and it was so confusing because in that version, Sarah was 3 years old. So it's very confusing, and she was extremely aware. So she felt what everyone was feeling, and that was very confusing. But she was also one of the only people that kind of knew that something was going to happen, even though she was so young. So they did prepare her in a way, because she was raised the whole time by that Essene community, and they have so many initiations, but still she was very, very young. So yeah, they prepared her, but how prepared can you be to see your father in that position? It's weird and difficult. But yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter how enlightened or the the how you grow up, like how they teach you things, you are still in a human body, you still feel the emotions.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because when I started getting a little sad today, and then I was like, I don't want to feel like that. Why? It's been so long. And but the more that I connect with those parts of myself, the more I have access to them. And then Yeshua told me, it's like, well, it's because we were in bodies, and you are in a body now, and your body feels, and it's okay to feel. So it's fine if you feel sad. It's okay. It was very traumatizing for you in all your experiences with that. And I can also see things through his eyes. And that's the best version. So every time that starts like getting me like sad or whatever, I try to see how he was seeing, through the whole thing, and the feeling of completion of his mission, the feeling of he was proud of everyone for doing that, and himself too. He was proud of his partner and his family and everyone that brought those things into fruition, because that was so necessary in our current timeline now, right? Everything was a mix and of so many things. So he didn't feel sad at all. He didn't feel any pain. He didn't feel anything that would say that is bad. So he was very he was in a 100% place of surrender. So yeah.
Did any of the children went through the rite of horrors later, or like Yeshua did? And if yes, what were these demonstrations like?
They did. Yeshua is saying that they did in a less dramatic way, because there are so many moments in your life where you have that choice that Yeshua had upon the cross. They have that choice, like, do you want to release this body, or do you want to keep living in the body 100% aware of God within you, and is still in balance with your body and loving your body through all of that. So they had that opportunity. They were not tortured or anything like that, but at least not in the timelines that I'm aware of. So what? You see what happens? Like everything vanishes, and I'm like, where am I? What's my name?
Okay.
Not so dramatic. Yeshua is helping me. But yeah, they went, so many of the kids. Some kids had absolutely no interest in that, he's saying, and they went and lived their lives as they wanted to. But yeah, so if anyone is getting here just now, we have Yeshua, we have Mary Magdalene, and we are asking you to copy and paste your questions if we don't answer them, because last time we were trying to stop and things got so confusing for us. So
because the chat goes on very fast.
Yeah, so if we don't answer your question, it's not that we didn't like it, or that we will tell you if Yeshua doesn't want to answer, or if it's not relevant. Okay, so just paste it again, please. But he wants me to go look at what Maria said
for this moment.
Yeah. It's not that we are saying it's like, we hate your question, you go away. No. It's just that if he would tell you, he'll do better than I'm doing now. Which timeline for the crucifixion is most relevant for us right now today? He's saying that it's exactly that understanding that he had, that demonstration wasn't only for him, and that part is correct, but he did not go through that so he could save anyone, because he does not see us as hopeless little beings that need saving. And he didn't see us in that time, in how we perceive time, at least. So his demonstration was to inspire us to see God within us, and to acknowledge that, and to understand that, yes, you are not this body, and you are not only this body, but in this current reality, the body is your vehicle, so you can decide how to guide that vehicle. And he was showing some very, very powerful alchemy that would allow us to see that we are limitless beings, and that we can do absolutely anything, such as being perforated by spears and put on a cross for hours and hours and hours, and still the body remained in a state of rest and surrender and trust, that it was so obnoxious and so big that he didn't die. So he was trying to show that to us so we could be inspired by that. And it's taken us as a collective 2,000 years in our perception to finally be aware of that, that you are always presented with a choice. No one just dies. He's saying, well, no one really dies. We cross over, we change planes. But we never really die because you're a soul, you're not a body. But you can choose what you do with your body. You can choose how to express yourself in a body. And loving that and integrating all of the parts of God within you, it's how you get there. So he's saying that that's the most relevant timeline, is knowing that he didn't suffer, and it wasn't for us in a way that, oh, I'm doing this so you don't have to. No, it was so we could get inspired to do that too, and to understand that he is one with us. He's saying that's why I chose to come as a man. That's why I chose to have a family, even though your scriptures don't show it yet, but soon it will. So he's saying that was the demonstration. And the other thing is that in a way, all of us, we were that with him, and we were in his body. So he was embodying such a strong presence of a Christ consciousness. But it wasn't only him, and the stage had been set for him for years and years and years and years. So he could come and he could be that representation for us. But he's a manifestation of us, of a collective wish to see something that we would call a miracle, and not to imagine that as something that is, oh, it's so far off. Oh, he is so more enlightened than I could ever be. No, it's so you can see that a human being with training, with love, with understanding of God within you, and with surrender and trust, don't even know how many words I've said, that we can do that too. And that there is no separation between us and him. He's saying that that's the timeline. In our current events, even, that's the most important thing.
Can he explain the concept of turning the other cheek?
Reference it better for me so my mind can understand, because I kind of understand, but I don't. My ego can't comprehend. So do you mind explaining a little for me, Ludmila?
Yeah, I don't remember very well either. It's just like,
I can't explain.
Like,
you see,
if
it's
someone
like
harms
there.
you, you turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
I don't.
He wants me to look back at something. So again, guys, if we don't answer your question, please copy and paste it here.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the chat is moving very, very fast.
Yeah.
Okay, Yeshua, would you share aspects of your Garden of Gethsemane? What's happening? Oh, I thought it was Siri, but it's me, right?
No, it was you.
Okay.
Saying weird the whole day.
Right. Would you share aspects of your Garden of Gethsemane, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, experience that would be helpful for us at this time? He says that he loves this question. He's saying that you can view your own Garden of Gethsemane, I don't know, again, if I'm pronouncing it right, as your sacred space. So that's the place where he would go to meditate, that he will feel safe and held. And he would go there to talk to God. But that means God within him. And then further events occurred in that same space, where still I felt held, supported, and loved. Gethsemane. I'm pretty sure I'm not pronouncing it. Gethsemane. Sorry. Not gonna happen.
Gethsemane. I don't know.
Gethsemane. Is that it? Okay. So he's saying that we all have that space within us. So David is helping. Get some, Annie. Get some, Annie. Yeshua is laughing so hard, David. Oh, guys. I'm glad I'm wearing a lot of foundation, so you can't see my cheeks. So yeah, if we didn't attend to your question, let me know, because I got very distracted by pronunciating stuff. He wants me to go back. What's the real story about Judas? Oh, then we can read this from Ludmila. He's saying that he was one of his close friends and they played roles for each other. And Yeshua knew that what role Judas would play for him. And he also knew that in many timelines, because again, Yeshua was a multidimensional channel. So he would see through all of those timelines. He could navigate through them. He could bilocate into any kind of sort of thing. So, you know, he could see, he saw Judas' heart, and he understood the connection that they had, the ways that they chose to play that role for each other. So he never blamed him. And the feeling is that he was extremely grateful for his role, because that's not an easy one. In many timelines, Judas didn't understand it like that. He didn't understand that that was supposed to be like that. So Judas felt very guilty. He took his own life in so many timelines too. So, but yeah, let's say that most what you read about it is it's kind of true, we'll say. But no one saw him and no one blamed him but himself. Well, we'll say no one, because each person and each being there had their own perception of it. So yeah, let's go back and see what Ludmila answered.
Ask it. I remember.
If I remember correctly, he was insulted
by someone, and he just turned the other cheek. He didn't want to go into the conflict. So I was wondering how it is relevant for us in the current times.
He's saying that no one could ever offend him because he saw himself as one with everyone. So he's saying that that's number one. I could never get offended, because what does God have to be offended with? It's the same thing as roles being played for each other. So again, that being showed him, helped him show others something important, that you don't have to dig deep, you don't have to respond even with respond to unkindness with more unkindness. Is that a word?
Unkindness?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's saying that if you understand that on earth we are all playing roles for each other, and we are always creating something new, and you always have a choice. What do you want to do? Do you even want to react? He's saying that that's the non-reaction kind of thing, because a reaction, most of the times, it is something that is like that is, how do you say, it's from the body, it's like, oh, I need to react very fast, otherwise this or that. He's saying, no, you can always observe first and decide what you want to do about that. So that's the lesson there. He's saying that lots and lots and lots of things got lost in translation first. And also that everyone that wrote about him, they had their own filters, they had their own perceptions, they had their own agenda. So discernment is very important there. What is the root cause or causes of my digestive problems? That's too personal for me to answer like this, Juan. We would have to go deeper than that and talk about it.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
Most Good Fridays or during Holy Week, I listen to Jesus Christ Pop Superstar. My sister and I would lay on the floor, and when we were young, and sing all the songs. She texted me. It was on YouTube today.
Oh, that's so cool.
Awesome. The music's amazing. So even though a serious week, the music uplifts me. Yeah. Was it channeled?
He's saying every art is always channeled.
Yes.
And then he adds everything is always channeled.
Yeah. Can Yeshua talk about the Holy Grail?
We talked about that last channeling, pretty sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
Last Friday?
Yes. So let me see if he has anything else to add to that. He's saying that, again, there are so many timelines, and it has a meaning in each one of them. And he asks, do you know why? It has a different meaning for you and for me and for Flavia and for him and for all of the representations of him. It's because we create meanings with our minds. So what does it mean to you? Is it something that brings you inspiration? That brings you excitement or a will to create? Or does it create more fear to you and more sadness? It's a choice. He's saying, for me, my holy grail was my family. And again, all of you are my family.
Does Mary Magdalene have anything to say for those of us going through their menstrual cycle right now?
She's saying, use that because that's the most powerful thing in the world right now. And she's saying that for everyone that is in a female body now that has their period, that your blood is so sacred. So use that to bless yourself. Use that to bless Mother Earth, because it's so, so, so powerful. We have a whole thing about that. I don't know where it is. I think we talked about it in one of our goddess tips that we talked about yoni eggs. Yes. I think that the one that we talk about yoni eggs, they go deep, at least she does, deep into explaining your period and all about that. Yeah. Holy Grail, we need to have a class for that. Oh yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. I'm curious, what are everyone's favorite foods to lift your moods when going through tough times like this?
What?
I wonder what are your favorite foods to lift your
moods.
I wonder what Mary, Yeshua, and Sarah loved to eat when they were embodied too.
I don't know what my favorite food is. So hard to choose one. I feel like it's like choosing a favorite child.
Reading the question, the first thing that came to my mind was strawberries. For me. Yeah, because I have been feeling very happy every time I eat strawberries. So I would say that.
That's what he said about you when you lived and you were one of the kids. He just pointed at you, like, she loved berries. So that's something that they really loved. They would pick the berries together. And I have this image of Yeshua putting the kids on his shoulder so they could reach for the berries. Or he would just, hold them up so they could do that. And he would love to play with them. You can imagine, right? If he just has so much fun with us, making jokes, and all of that, you can imagine him with his kids and any kid at all. So he would be like that parent that throws himself on the floor playing with them and climb trees to make them laugh, So there's this image that shows. So they would love to eat that. Seeds. Yeshua says that whenever he could get his hands on some dates or dried dates, that he would love them. Mary Magdalene is saying that she loved bread, which I understand. So whenever they could get their hands on wheat, they would prepare their own bread. And yeah, the kids loved picking fruits together and, just have fun with that.
What was Yeshua's favorite memory of Tibet? I visited the Himalayan mountains in this life and loved visiting the monks who lived deep in the mountain.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Going there. He's saying that he had so many good memories, that he has so many good memories of that because it was such a precious time for him. So he's showing me one that he lived in, oh my god, what is the name? I don't know how to call that. A place where the monks, I'll say, live together. It looks like a castle the way that I see.
Monastery?
Maybe a monastery. I don't know. So he spent years in that place, and he spent lots of time without getting out of there. And he had so many initiations in that place, right in Tibet. So there are so many kinds of meditations that he learned, and all kinds of things to help him learn to control his body and to surrender to his body. So there's just a whole lot of things that happened there, and he spent months without leaving the monastery. So when he was told that he should go to the village close by, mounted in a donkey to grab something. It's kind of like a grain. It's like wheat, but it's not wheat. It's not spelled. It's something else that they use there. I can't grasp the thing what it was 2,000 years ago. So he's saying that he was assigned to go do that. He's on lockdown, exactly. He said the same thing, Juan. So when he was assigned to go there on his donkey, just pick up some food, he was so excited to leave. And then he had been so, I think a millet. That's the word. He was so excited to get out of that place and to just see other things and to breathe the air outside of the place. Then when he got to the village, he had spent so much time alone and so much time working on himself that he wasn't prepared for the way that he would feel when he would interact with other people, with other people's energies. And when he got there and he saw people sick, he saw people on the streets, he saw all kinds of things happening, and great things too, but he was hyper focusing on all of those things that were sad for him. That he was living so much in his own world that he couldn't relate to that in a way anymore. So when he saw that happening, he wasn't prepared to how that would change his frequency. So the image that I get is like he just parks his donkey and he gets out, and there's a man sitting on the floor, a very old man. It's like he can't see, he's blind, and he's sick. And then he just sat close to that being. And he's saying that first he felt extremely overwhelmed. He had no idea what he went there to do. And he's like, by this point, you are wondering why that's my favorite memory and why I'm telling you this. Wait, hold on. And he's saying that he got extremely overwhelmed. He felt grief. He felt all kinds of sadness you can imagine. He felt everyone's happiness too. But that shock with his frequency was so strong that he couldn't move. He couldn't do anything. So he just sat down next to the man that was blind and sick. And the man said hello to him and asked if he wanted a piece of bread, because he had just got a piece of bread for someone, and it was like the first time that the man had eaten in 7 days, and he shared his bread with him. And he said that first he was, let's say that the whole asking him to leave and go there, it was so he could interact with those other people's energies, and it was so he could see how to manage his frequency. And that moment where he sat down with that person and that person offered him love instead of suffering was when he realized that he didn't need to sympathize with their pain. He could empathize with their pain. He could have compassion for their pain, but they were not small. They were not unworthy in any way. They were beautiful and they were God. So he just sat there and cried like a baby, he's saying, and for hours and hours and hours, he couldn't move. So when it was night, he went back to the monastery without the things that he went to, without the millet. And they asked him, what happened? And he said that, well, I saw the face of God today. That's what he says. He's gonna make me cry. Not gonna cry. So yeah, beautiful. So that's his favorite memory right now. He's saying, because he's saying, "Oh, there are so many."
Is the role of baptism significant?
If it is for you, yes.
I love Yeshua's stories. He's a wonderful storyteller.
He really is.
He is.
He starts it in a way like you're gonna like, why are you telling me this? Yeah. That's just sad. And then he yeah.
Could Yeshua explain this phrase from A Course of Love? The reality of being able to experience the variability of separation from within the state of totality. The reality of being
Let me just stop. You're not helping. The reality? He's saying that that's the balance we look for. It is understanding that there is no separation between you and God, the body and God, the ego and God. So you choose to be in a body so you can have those variables, so you can have options, so you can play with them. So even though you are 100% in a state of oneness and you are 100% aware of that, it doesn't mean that you are removed from that reality that you are creating because you don't want to be removed from it. It's because you just are here to experience those things in a body. So those are the variables of separation. It's like the story he just told. He could feel pity for those people. He could try to stretch himself until the point he would snap to try to, help everyone, or he could see God in everything and God in everyone. So there's a choice. He's saying that that's the beauty of Earth.
Yes. I just saw something here on Patreon. For those watching from Patreon or from somewhere else other than YouTube, if you want to interact live, you need to open YouTube in another tab or in the YouTube app. Otherwise, you can't see what you're saying, like the chat and stuff. Just so you know.
Being human while also embodying oneness consciously. Exactly, David. He's saying that you put that in such simple words. And he was, it's like we say in Portuguese, cheio de firula. Since everything is happening at the same time and we create it, aren't we right now creating Yeshua and those very stories we perceive as past timelines? Yes. Mm-hmm. He's saying that's how powerful we are. Okay, let's go back. Yeah. Again, guys, if we didn't answer you, please copy and paste. We are going back and trying to find one of your questions.
Let's see.
And I've been reading them because Yeshua's been choosing them. So he's saying, sorry for stepping over your row.
You can do it.
You can do it, Serpent Queen.
Where was I? Okay. Did Yeshua know what teachers to go to learn and perform this demonstration?
He's saying that yes, and he was born in a community that already offered him this support, and also that that he had to learn to discern which teachers served him and which which teachers didn't serve him. So I really, really have to pee, guys. That's what's been in my mind, all the time. And my body's screaming at me. And I've peed like not even joking. No, 40 minutes ago. And before this, in the last, the 10 minutes before this, 3 times. So that's all I can think about right now.
All right. So you want to go there?
Yeah.
I'm going to mute the mic and be here singing for you all.
Yeah. And I'll be right back.
Hi again.
Oh, Julie. Julie. Look what I have, Maria. My beautiful shawl.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to
It was
wear it
there.
on my head because it's so grounding that I want to be doing this, but then I look like a crazy person, so I don't. But yeah.
I love how fun you two interact. Great stuff. We laugh a lot, don't we? I knew it.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that, guys.
We
What?
were like, do you think that Julie is watching? Because we started saying Julie.
Okay.
He said he wanted to answer Beth's question.
Yes, but we were answering someone else.
Were we?
Yeah. Go up. Let me see if I attended to the question. Because Okay. No.
It was.
Go ahead. No. Go
Down?
ahead, like yeah, with your life.
But before, it was before Beth's question.
Don't.
No? We forget.
I don't know.
Let's go to the next one. Were all of Mary Magdalene's biological children born before the crucifixion?
No. She's saying that in most timelines, as we are aware of them right now, as they serve us right now, she already had Benjamin and Sarah in that time, Sarit. And Benjamin was the firstborn, and Sarit the second, of course. And in that timeline, she was pregnant during the crucifixion. And with their third child, which in other timelines, so there's that timeline, so it's like it branches. In some timelines after that, she had a miscarriage, and some she didn't with that child. And some timelines she only had Sarah by that time, and the firstborn wasn't from Mary Magdalene, it was from another woman. So it's Johannes. And some timelines it was only Sarah. So those are like, she's saying 3 because it's not only 3, but the 3 kind of points of collision in those timelines that serve us the best right now. But they had many others after that in most timelines.
Yes. What is the name of their third child?
I get, it's a translation he's saying, I get Rachel is one, and Judah is another one. I don't know how to pronounce it in with an English kind of way, but yeah.
I think that's it.
Judah? I don't know.
I don't know either. Was Sarah the constant?
Oh, that's the question. Did Yeshua know which teachers? He was talking about discernment. So some teachers helped him and served him, and some teachers didn't. And he was talking about that sometimes he was a pain in the ass. That's what he's saying to his teachers. He was always that one that would be like, but why? It's like, okay, I see you, but why? Why are you telling me this? So he's saying that he was such a pain in the ass, and he was such a brainy too, he's saying. It's like he was very nerdy. We call it CDF. Yeah. I don't know if nerd is good enough, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
So you were reading something else, and I cut you. Sorry. You, Flavia.
What is the name of the third child? No. What was the other question?
I don't know. Move up.
Oh, I love Johannes. I remember Pamela channeling him.
I haven't watched that one.
This one. It's really cool. He talks about sound alchemy, I think, and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Well, I think I have watched so many. I don't really know anymore.
It's like, don't quote me. Was Sarah the constant?
Yeah, that was the question.
He's saying that yes, she could be called that. Like in every timeline, there's a Sarah because she was the female embodiment of the Christ consciousness in a way that, with full awareness, the type of alchemy was different. So she is the top of the pyramid of the... Como é que fala, amigos? Help.
Okay.
Os três.
The Holy Trinity?
Yes, the Trinity. So there's always a Sarah. In every timeline that there is Yeshua, there's a Sarah. So yeah, if that's your question, if I'm interpreting it right.
Yeah.
So if we haven't answered your question, please ask again.
Yeah, copy and paste it.
Yeah, because
I've been in love with this woman for the longest time, more than 10 years. About a year ago, I finally let it go. Yesterday, I went to sleep thinking of what to ask you and woke up dreaming of her.
Yeshua is saying that so many of us are revisiting emotions so we can... You okay?
Yes, we can continue.
Revisiting emotions so we can fully let go of them if they are not serving us anymore. So it's like we are in a point in our creation where there is like a portal for releasing karma. He's saying that that's the best way that we can explain it. So you can always dump all your karma that you don't want anymore, and it's going to be transmuted into love. It's going to go through that portal, and when it arrives on the other side, it's going to be love. So that's why we are being presented with emotions that might be old. And he's saying that some of us are really feeling it right now because we are having the opportunity to sit with ourselves, and some of us, we've been feeling it for months. If we've been doing that kind of work, working with our emotions, mastering our emotions. So yeah, that's why.
Mm-hmm. Who was John the Baptist and what was his role and purpose? What has been suppressed about him?
Something that comes to me is how Sarah sees him, and she calls him uncle, right?
Yes.
And the amount of love that she feels for him. So that's how he wants me to show him to you. It's how Sarah saw him, because he was a very close friend in many timelines, we'll say, of the family, not only of Yeshua, but the whole family. So his own sisters and brothers, and the whole community. He wasn't a part of these scenes, but he was very aware of that. But he was like a merchant, or he trade things and all that, and then he let go of all of that to start really going with Yeshua to places and to learn and teach. So they love him, So let me see his role and purpose. He had a very difficult role, and Yeshua is saying that many beings throughout time had held such difficult roles for humanity, and that took a toll on him, on his own expression of his his expression as the divine, and how he felt guilty and how he felt like he needed to pay that karma somehow. And there are so many timelines. In some timelines, he reincarnated as Joan of Arc. I was looking for the translation. So that's when he really felt like he ascended and all that. There are some books about it, but he played a very crucial role for the whole collective, not only Yeshua in that time. So they absolutely love him.
Can Yeshua's life be used as a parable for our current timeline? What are the similarities that we can draw from right now?
Yes. He's referring back to a message that Isis gave us. We're going to cut that. It was from our ceremony. We're going to cut that and post it on YouTube because it was so relevant.
Good. Yes.
But yes, because he's saying that I was... How do you want to say that? He's saying I was like an actor, and I held everyone's energies in my body. And again, we were many, and he's saying that that kind of energy could only be present in his body if Earth was ready for that. And it doesn't make him any more special than anyone. We all hold that energy now in our bodies, and so many of us held that energy in with awareness, because everyone has that energy. It's like that Christ consciousness energy. He was just he decided that he wanted to come, that we decided as a collective that he wanted to come and play that role for us. So he held all of our energies, so all of the metaphors for his life, it works right now. That Lent period that he went through, it was 30 something days that he spent in the desert alone with his ego, trying to come into terms with his ego, trying to um, tell his ego that it was fine, it was okay, we are going through this, because he knew what was going to happen, with the crucifixion and everything. And his ego freaked out, of course. Who wouldn't? He was scared. His ego was scared. So he had to sit down and chill, sit down and talk to himself and be with his emotions and deal with all of that, because he had a choice. He could run, he could go away, he could riot, he could, there's so many things that he could do, but that was not the thing that God within him wanted him to do. So we could all anchor that energy, because once he was that, and not only he was that, like Mary Magdalene mother, Mary, all of the Magdalenes incarnating at that time, so many of these scenes, people that had nothing to do with him and his demonstration, there were so many points of connection on earth with that awareness of God within, so we could anchor at least like a tiny little bit of that awareness, so the frequency of the collective could rise. So that's what his demonstration was. And he's saying that we are all going through that somehow, just not as dramatically as he did, because we needed that to wake us up, and to traumatize us, so we would be focusing on that energy one way or another, and some of us use that energy very lovingly, and some of us really use that energy not lovingly at all. But now we are coming again into one of those points of collisions of timelines, that thing is a constant, so it's the same thing with him. There was a crucifixion, and there are so many cases of crucifixions. There is one timeline there that he suffered, and that was sad, and it was bad, and all of those things. Because if that timeline didn't exist, we wouldn't know about it, because we created it. So he's saying now this is the time for the collective to play that role for each other, and not only like one being. So yeah, he's not going to, well, at least in most of the cases, in most timelines, he's not going to descend from the sky with angels and come to save us, because we don't need saving. So it's up to us now to work with our own egos, work with our emotions, and surrender to God within you 100%, so you don't see the need for suffering anymore, for example. So you don't need to be carrying karma that's been hindering you for 4,000 years, So yeah, there's a lot of coincidences, he's saying, a lot of similarities with that that demonstration of us as Yeshua. So he says that every time we are him, and he is within all of us. So all of us now, we decided to incarnate with some level of awareness, so we could come together as one, so we could raise each other's frequency, so we could play in a way that isn't so traumatic anymore. And for some of us, some things that happen, they are very traumatizing still. And he's saying that that's because you are God and you create everything. So it's not only it's not one thing, it's not only you. It's the roles that you play with everything, and all the things that we are transmuting as one, and the things that we transmute as individuals as well. Because we've been playing that game of, okay, so now we decide that we want to raise the frequency of Earth. So the first thing that we decide is that The frequency needs to be raised. So that's the belief that is created, right? That for some reason the collective needed to raise the frequency. And that's a belief that is so strong that we create ways to do that. And we've been doing that for 4,000 years. So yeah, there's a lot to be said about that. So if there are any more questions regarding it, let us know. Yes, we are going through our 40 days in the desert. And then he corrects us like 37. But yeah, rounding it up, 40.
Is there something else I can do to release this state of loneliness?
He is telling you to watch the video we just posted with Archangel Michael and to try to translate that into something that is believable for you, you know? And also he's telling you personally to stop beating yourself up for feeling lonely, because that's the first thing. Everything you resist, it becomes like a persistent thing in your life, you know? So if you resist all the time the loneliness and you don't surrender to that, it comes back, it comes back, it comes back, it comes back. So what if you just sit with that loneliness for a while and observe it as the master that you are? And then let it tell you what it is showing you. Let it tell you what emotion is bringing forward, because he's telling you that loneliness is not the emotion. Loneliness is the catalyzer that is pointing you to certain directions. So just sit with yourself and accept that, yes, I'm lonely, and it's okay if I'm lonely, and I have all the right to be lonely. Then what is this? How is this serving me right now in this moment? What is this trying to show me? And then to have that conversation with your ego. You know, he's saying that that's the time. It's the time for that now, so we can make peace with all of those parts of us that we don't like, you know, that we called bad or ugly.
Was Jesus at the Hemis monastery in Ladakh, India? And was he called Isa there?
Yep. He's saying yes. I have no idea what any of that means, but he said yes.
Can you hear me or see me?
No. You can only see us.
Yeah.
Let's go back. He wants me to search for another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a timeline where Yeshua didn't play his Yeshua Christ consciousness role? He's saying if you can think of it, then the answer is yes. Did Yeshua come from another galactic origin or origins, Pleiadian, Lyrian, Arcturian? He's saying yes for that, yes for that, yes for that. Lemurian, the main one being the Lyrian felines, that he had, let's say, the most connection in an awareness kind of thing because of the roles that we played as those beings. What is the best and lightest focus on Easter Sunday? He's saying that I'm alive and well, that I enjoyed the heck out of everything that you can ever imagine, and that I see life through your eyes.
And live life through your experiences.
Having lots of dreams lately of my past, from my childhood, my ex-husband, things that I already dealt with, be doing this. Yes, it's the same thing. What should I be doing? Deciding if you want to keep them as a trigger or not. So if you want to release them, there's a time, and the time is now. Does it make sense what I just said?
Yeah.
Let me know if it doesn't make sense, because it happens sometimes.
When I was younger, Jesus showed me a symbol of an upside down triangle with arms on either side. What did it mean?
It's a representation of the divine feminine energy within you that was ready to come forward, you know, nurturing, accepting, all those things that you can research about divine feminine energy, because we have both in our bodies, and whatever serves, you know, that's the case for you.
I think I get messages from Yeshua during dream time, but I struggle to remember them. Any advice?
He's saying, remember how it makes you feel and not what I might have said or done.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to go fast through some of those. So yeah, if we didn't answer you, please ask again, because I can't find
the question that he wants to answer.
Oh yeah, could Yeshua fly and go through walls and all that? He's saying that, well, if he wanted to, yeah. He's saying that the go through walls, yes. The flying and levitating only if he was in a very deep state of samadhi. Is that how you call it? Then sometimes, yes. Don't say that. Sometimes he gives me visuals and it's hard to describe, So there's him in a meadow, and then he's meditating and he starts levitating from the ground a little bit. There's him practicing sacred sex and he would start levitating. He's saying, well, can you imagine that? Please, don't.
I don't know what you mean by release. How do I do that? Memories.
Release any attachment to suffering related to them. That's what he means.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, okay. What about walking on water?
Yep. He said that, but although I started with little tiny ponds, it wasn't just out of a sudden that I decided, well, I'm going to walk on that ocean. No, he trained.
Yeah. Does he have any story that he would like to tell to the collective today? Like any message specifically?
He's saying by the end we can do that.
Okay.
Let me see. He's created two groups of people, those who do not work and those who do. Can you please tell us about those who work and any messages for us during this time? He's saying the more you perceive yourself as a separate entity, the more room you give your ego to present you with fear. What if there are not two groups? What if it's a community anyhow? Because one way or another, everyone is going through the same kind of creation. And even though it is a personal thing, how you choose to see, and perceive yourself through that, it's also a collective thing. I'm not very keen in giving advice, but if I may, I would advise all of you to stop, or try to stop perceiving yourselves as separate entities, as separate groups, so then you can see God in everything. Because in truth, you are safe. You're God. It's how you feel about it that creates your reality. And he's saying, sit with that. It's how you feel about your condition that creates your reality. It's not even just how you feel or just how you think that creates it. It's how you feel. You are 100% moved by the way you feel about things. So that's what you create more of.
I hear the doggies makes me think of Roger. Oh.
I miss Roger.
Does he recommend ways to help lift others' spirits? I have been reconnecting with my boyfriend during this time, and we are enjoying making funny videos to share.
He is saying sing. And they've been talking about sound and frequency and music all the time. It's a very good way to recalibrate the body, is what he's saying. So to keep your frequency high. So sing and dance and do silly things and use sound as a guide.
Aren't we here to master emotion?
He's saying you are here to master whatever it is that you decide you want to master. And in truth, you are here to remember that you are a master of everything. You chose to forget so you could revisit it, so you could teach it to others, so you could be a demonstration to others. So, yes, if you want to be a master of emotions, that's your path.
Mm-hmm. Can he say anything about the role of Veronica during the crucifixion time? My mother had a strong connection to her and would be interested to learn more.
Can you give me a little background? It's just my own personal ego is having a hard time placing it because I see so many timelines. So if you give me a little background, I will understand a little more what timeline is the best for you, if it makes sense.
Did Yeshua play any musical instrument? If so, what?
Oh my God, it's not funny. He said that he played the clapping instrument. He would sing and dance and clap. And that he learned some dances in India that it would be so much fun for him. You know, the kind of warm energy that they had, and they still do. So he would dance a lot, and he would not look good doing it sometimes, but he still had a lot of fun. But he's not talking about any instrument. Now he's showing me a flute or something that resembles a flute. But he's saying that it wasn't as easy to get, instruments at that time as it is for us now. I'm pretty sure if we gave him a guitar, he would play it. It's just that he didn't have access to a lot of that, I think.
She was said to have wiped the sweat off his face with a cloth.
Okay. She was one of the Magdalenas, so she was one of these scenes. That's how he's showing it to me. Because the first thing that I saw, it was like a friend of Mother Mary. So yeah, that's the thing that I was seeing anyway. So she was... He's saying that she wasn't portrayed correctly through his eyes most of the times. I don't know what that means. Just saying what he's saying. Because she was like a close friend, like an aunt for him, in a way. And she's been working with them for many years. And that he loved her, well, still does love her very, very deeply. And she was a very strong master of emotions herself. So she was like holding space for everyone's emotions.
How can we know if we knew Yeshua in one of our conscious timelines or an obscure, weird timeline?
He's saying, why do you think there is an obscure, weird timeline? And he's laughing, so he's like kind of, making light of it. You understand him, Julie? He's saying it's a feeling. Even though sometimes you don't trust that inner knowing, if you've known him and how you've known him and what timelines you align with. And he's saying that sometimes you need validation, and that's okay. But there's that feeling there that and he's pointing everyone like, if you feel at all, it's like, if that's even in your mind, he's saying, yes, we've met somehow in that time, in that lifetime, we'll say. If it's even a maybe for you, then that's a yes.
Is there a good meditation practice for me and maybe others too at the moment to just focus on being present in silence and be open to inspiration?
He's saying that that's exactly that, to be open. So be mindful of everything you do. That's how you train your mind to be in the present moment. So everything you're doing, when you're eating, just be mindful of everything that is happening. Be extra aware of your body, of your surroundings, and everything. He's saying that that's how he mastered being so present in the moment that he didn't feel any suffering on the cross.
Mm-hmm. What was the role of Nicodemus, the priest, in the most relevant timeline?
He's saying that, well, there are so many roles because it really depends on how we choose to see those roles, you know? So, what is his role for you? Because even him, he's saying that he was human, he lived in a body. So, he had his own perceptions of things, you know? Even though he could see so many timelines, he was still aware and in love with his human essence.
Just see.
Do we have any questions in the posts? I don't think
That's
so.
what I'm trying to hear the mouse so I can see. I'm gonna look for it.
Yeshua, why do my neighbors keep making so much noise after midnight even though we've asked them not to? He's saying because they're bored out of their minds. Can you have compassion for them? Can you have compassion for the role they're playing for you so you don't feel like a victim anymore? Does Yeshua miss any foods? Does he enjoy them when we eat them? He's saying that yes. So he loves eating strawberries through you, Suna. He's showing me peanut butter because he didn't have peanut butter in his time, and almond butter, and the way that you put it on like gluten-free toast with with blueberries on top. He's saying, "Ooh, I love it." He's saying that he loves the way that Flavia eats cheese with jam, and the way that I eat popcorn. He's saying, "Oh yeah, I'm there every time you eat. I have nothing to miss." What was Yeshua and Mary's favorite thing to do when they were kids? Yeshua is saying that it was bugging the crap out of my parents, bugging the crap out of everyone. He said that he was a very active child and also a very intellectual child, so he had a very hard time remaining still, and that's one of the things that he had to learn to master, because he was born already so aware, and so open, that's only to, something that you expect, that he would be all over the place all the time, because he learned very young to speak many languages, and he was always in that community with Yassine, so he always had like all kinds of people to talk to, so he's saying that even though he was very young, he would be a pain in the ass for so many people. So, and he says that um, there are some timelines where his family and Mary Magdalene's family were very close and lived very close. So they were like best friends since they were born. He is a little older than she is, about 3 to 4 years. Yeah. He's saying, well, that's good enough. Don't patronize me. Yeah, so they would. He's showing me the river. Is the Jordan River? Is that the name? I think it is because he's nodding. And they loved swimming together. And he's saying that she was always better in everything. And that drove him insane because she was good in everything she did. And he had such an awe of her all along. So in that particular timeline where they were kids and they spent a few years before they were shipped away, is how he's calling it. It was the first time that he traveled. He was 11 and he went to Britain, and she went to Egypt as soon as she got her period. So about the same time. But while they were children, they would play together and they would have a lot of fun. But everything that she tried to do, she was better, and he would be very upset.
Was he born aware due to not being just a fractal, but an entire spirit?
Having a hard time with. Okay. Can you expand on that, Beth? About being not just a fractal, but an entire spirit? Because what he's saying is that everyone is an entire spirit. You can be aware of certain fractals of divinity, but you are an entire being of your own. And there is even let's say, a bigger picture where we are all that, and we all share that essence. So he was born more aware simply because that was his role. And that previous to that incarnation, as a collective, we decided that that would happen, so he would be more susceptible to all those things that he needed to learn so fast. That was just a choice.
Yeah.
But everyone is an entire spirit. I don't know if you're answering you right, though, so let us know. My neighbor was making noise yesterday. It was midnight and he was playing the saxophone. And
so loud.
And the first thing that I thought, it was like, sometimes it's so hard loving human beings.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, but that's great. Well, that was Yeshua through me, right?
Yeah.
It's like he possessed my body, so I could see the beauty in that. And I'm like, I'm being serenaded in my window. That's awesome. So then I was like, da, 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 and enjoying it, because why wouldn't I? And then the guy stopped. It was like, okay, then, So as soon as you surrender to it, it's like that. Stop. It's like that it's a child, and it's bugging you. Oh my God, I want a lollipop. I want a lollipop. I want a lollipop. Then you give it the lollipop. That's your ego. And it's like, oh, okay. I'm just gonna sit down there and eat a lollipop until it's done, and then it's gonna want something else.
Did he have a favorite song?
He's saying that yes, it was the song that was sang on his wedding. We sang that, right? Don't ask me to sing it now, because that's just too much pressure for my little ego. But we sang that in the Twin Flame ceremony.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
What does he think about the mesh? Could I burn?
What are
the
you?
Singer? What does he think about the mesh? Is the singer that the coach reacted to him? That does. I think so. That is the incredible every note possible. The huge range. Remember?
He's embodying thousands of voices in his body, such as you are, and he has that way to express it. That's what's happening there. He loves it.
So cool. If we are talking about the right person.
Oh yeah. If we're not, then
sorry.
We even guided Yeshua to talk about him, because he's really good.
Really good. It's impressive. Yeshua, what was your relationship with Serapis Bey during your time on Earth?
He's saying, well, do you know that being that sometimes I called Father? That's him. Call him Father so people could understand at that time. But he was like a big fractal of him and a big guide for him, whatever it is that we want to see it as,
Yeah. Yesterday night at 1 a.m. for 30 minutes, there was a fire alarm in the building.
Wow.
Oh boy. Timing.
Okay, that's... Mary Magdalene went to Egypt when she had her body changed to menstruate. Was there a similar rite of passage for young boys? Yes. He's saying that whenever there was time when those hormones started kicking in, same for boys and girls, they would be... they would start studying it in a more practical way. But they've been learning some things since they were around 9, he's saying. regarding the Isis alchemy and Horus alchemy and sacred sexuality and all that. So they've been introduced to that, and even things before that, things that we've been doing in our Patreon too, with the classes, the techniques and the breathing techniques and all of that, since a very young age. Since they were they've always been learning, since they were born, things about meditation and all that. But it started getting more practical and learning other languages and stuff when they were 5 or 6. And they started with the practices when they were 16 or 17. That's Sarah told us something about that. I don't remember because I wasn't awake. I
don't remember because I don't remember. I just napped while hearing Yeshua's voice through you when you were talking about him talking about picking berries. I feel so much peace.
That's cool.
Yeah. How can we best avoid taking on other people's negativity?
You go to the root of the word and what it means to you. The duality that is expressed to you with that, with something being able to be negative alone, it keeps you in a state of separation. So it's a matter of changing your perception of what they are offering you. What if it's not a negative energy? What if it's just another demonstration? Another trigger, so you could see something that you're not looking at. How do you choose to perceive that? That's all it takes. You don't need to protect yourself from anything. The need is to relieve yourself from the concept that you can be harmed. Why are you growling like a dragon? And that was Hey Leo asking you.
Imitating him. Can you talk about your travels to North and South America? How did you travel there? And did these visits get mentioned in the local history told through generations?
Now you're tapping into some things that make me personally very excited, Jimena. He's saying that travels were not always easy, but they always somehow had support. And he goes somehow. It's because he was a master alchemist and he could manifest anything. So they went from the place where we call Jerusalem now to France by boat, and the boat belonged to, again, I have to guys every time. That's one timeline. If it doesn't serve you, it's fine. He's showing me one timeline according to what Jimena asked him. The boat belonged to Joseph of Arimathea. He was Mary Magdalene's uncle, and he stayed in Jerusalem. He ended up being even captured and spent years and years in prison. And then he met them in the Astro when he died. He was a very close friend to them. So they traveled by boat, and then he's saying that once they got to France, then the family got really big because they had 2 children, and Mary Magdalene was pregnant with a 3rd one at that time. And in some timelines, as I said, she lost a child, and some timelines she had the child. But once they reached France, they started walking everywhere. So the thing is that they knew, and Mary most importantly knew, that she had something to give to that place, so they could anchor that fiery balance between the divine masculine and the feminine that gives voice to the feminine, So she was like the Yeshua of France. So she knew where they should go to, so they could spread their message, so they could spread their alchemy, so they could teach people that had never heard about those things, and everything that encompasses that. So she had like a compass, and she's saying that it's her heart, that she knew where to go, where people needed healing, where people would be accepting of their message and all that. So they spent a very long time in France doing that, and he's saying that mostly they would walk places. Sometimes they had horses or donkeys or any kind of transportation, but most of the times they were just walking everywhere, and they would camp in the woods. Those are the strongest memories that I have of those lifetimes, being in the woods there in France, and then up to that little end part of Germany, and then they got a boat to Britain, that's how he calls it, to the UK. And then they spent a lot of time there with Nordic kind of cultures, with Celtics and all that. In Ireland too, they spent a long time in Ireland and Scotland. And then they got another boat to what we call the United States now. And they spent some time there too. And he's saying that by that time, well, thing is, in that timeline, they lived very, very, very long. They lived like 600 years. So by that time, transportation wasn't as challenging, he's saying. So they could get like transportation from one place to another. And the kids, they would stay places sometimes. Sarah stayed in, well, some versions of Sarah stayed in France, some versions of her stayed in the UK. And that's how the Templars were created and all that. That's all true according to our own stories. So then they went to all those places, and they went down to North America, and that's the place where they spent the least time, at least how I perceive it, because very soon they moved to what we call now Mexico, and then all the way down to Peru and Brazil and Paraguay and all those places. So they went learning and teaching with all of that, so they spent time. Sometimes they didn't speak those people's languages. Most of the time they didn't. They spoke like a common language, like we do now with English, which was Greek, I think, at the time. And they spoke many languages. By the time they were adults, they spoke like 5 or 6 languages, both Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, and they taught it to the kids. So they learned how to speak the language in Provence, and they learned, the Celtic languages and all that. So yeah, they would just learn and teach. And so everything that is so deep within our own remembrances, they were there, they lived all of that. Another being that did that, Saint Germain, with living long time and participating in all kinds of culture. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those days we were like, I don't know, traveling, and we met Saint Germain in a body, like he's still there. It's like, oh, hi guys, I show up for you because I'm awesome. That's really like him. So yeah, so they there in South America, he's saying that it was one of his favorite times, because there was just so much of Lemuria is still there, and there still is, with the shamanism and the way that they use herbs and all of that. Mary Magdalene had such a lovely time there, because they would work with crystals, and she got to have different crystals that she didn't, and people were learning to polish them, so she could really do all of those things, that she only heard about, or that she had like in those temples with the Isis temple, that she couldn't work with them afterwards. So yeah, those were good times. And they had some children of their own, and at some point they stopped and they would adopt any living creature that just wanted or needed love. So they had animals and kids, like so many.
And does he have any tips on how to learn languages?
He's saying, think of it as you are a baby learning to speak. Don't try to connect it to anything. Give it space to be something completely new and beautiful as it is.
Yeah. Remember that when you're a baby, you're learning it from the womb. You're hearing your parents speak it. So be around it. How longer do you want to go? Because you wanted to make it shorter this time.
Because we have 3 things. So I'm just going to go through and see if he wants to answer anything else. Before we go, do you want to talk to people about the things we have planned this weekend?
Yeah. It'll be open for all tiers, right? Both of the next events. It's gonna be tomorrow, the Magdalena's class with Mary Magdalene and Yeshua. I forgot what they're talking about.
They are talking about how sacred sexuality helped keep Yeshua in his body. So the whole demonstration and everything and what role he played. And they're also going to give us a tool to work with or a practice to work with so we can... I need to read it because it's important. I'll read it. No, it's fine. It's here, very easy.
Okay. It's here, very easy.
Yeah. Sacred sexuality and how to heal and energize the body using it. So they are going to give us a practice to use that energy that you can manipulate within your body to energize and to heal your own body and other people's bodies. So you can use that energy to send blessings. And it's so freaking powerful. It's crazy. So we're going to talk about that. They're going to teach us a little bit about that. And it's going to be like a Q&A kind of thing too, because they love interacting. And then Sunday we have another channeling with Yeshua, but I will be in trance for most of it. And we're going to do it on Zoom and YouTube too. And
those who are watching from Zoom can come on screen and ask their questions directly to Yeshua.
And it's a whole different experience. You can ask other people that participated. It's like having that energy, cool. His energy interacting with you personally, it's very cool. Yeah. So
sometimes it tells jokes.
Yeah, he makes people cry. Yeah. It's a lot of fun for everyone but me because I'm not there.
Yeah,
but he tells me after the events.
And this will be in our Patreon, that is Lightworker 613.
And for all tiers, so if you want to join whatever tier, just to support us, that's fine. But if you can't right now, so just the first tier, that is $555. You can join there and still participate because we wanted to make this weekend more, for everyone.
Yes. And we'll be back again next Friday with Yeshua.
Yes, with Fridays with Yeshua.
The next one as well. And also, I'm not sure yet if tonight I will make it available because I need to finish organizing the schedule, but we are launching discount codes for sessions and mentorings also. So it's 33% for sessions and 22% for mentorings and healing ceremonies.
Yes. But wait for us to post it so it's easier for you to find the link and everything. So we're doing this like a
discount code and stuff.
It's a part of the Easter special. Yeah. We're gonna open that for everyone because we've done that before, but mostly only for Patreon. But now we're gonna do that for everyone. So if you've wanted to have a session or a healing ceremony or anything, now's the time. So we're gonna post about that on our Facebook group. So if you're not there, it's Lightworker613, and also in our Patreon, which is patreon.com/Lightworker613.
Yes.
And so we have a full weekend of Yeshua.
Yes.
And Mary Magdalene too.
Yeah. And we have also a channeling of Grandmother Anna coming up
on the
20th. It's going to be super fun.
It's always great.
Yeah, she is.
She's a powerhouse. She's just so wise and awesome. She's another one that lived like hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Such a powerful alchemist. It's on the 20th with Grandmother Anna. That's cool.
Yes. Someone asked, I remember seeing the question, what is the first step to becoming a master alchemist? And it just came to me like it is to wonder. That's all.
Let me search this like for a second.
You
just don't. Why do you do that?
Because it's way easier with the mouse.
No, it isn't. Because I don't have where to put it.
Yeah, what are you
I need
doing?
to see a picture of this. He's telling me. I'm just letting him tell me things, and I'm doing them.
Sorry for the noise, guys.
It's because Flavia is making me use.
She hit the microphone.
The mouse. Just because. It's not funny. Why do you want me to see this? Oh gosh. That face though. I'm looking something up that he wants me to.
Yeah. Really, Yeshua, so shiny.
My God. Yeah. Keep talking, Flavia. He's saying, tell people a joke.
Tell people a joke.
Don't be an asshole.
I don't know a joke.
He's saying, well, go ahead. Make one up.
Don't be like that, Yeshua.
Okay.
No? I'm not doing that?
No. It's coming to me. You know? Happens. You have your mouse.
Got any grapes?
Our Lady of Knock in Ireland. It's a Magdalena essence. That's what I'm seeing. So some people recognize that energy as Mother Mary, and some people recognize that as Mary Magdalene. Forgive her, Annie. Be kind to each other. We are making fun. Every time that you see us bickering, we're making fun. Yeah, it's like we never fight. We never get offended with each other.
No.
It's like, don't worry about that. It's just like a tough love kind of sisterly kind of thing. You know, there's never nothing to forgive. Yeah, so that's the thing with that he wanted you to know about the Lady of Knock, if I'm pronouncing right. Thanks, Dawn. I read your email. I didn't answer yet about drawing Mary Magdalene, and Yeshua is saying like, well, of course we can do it. And I'm like, can we? You know? And he's like, well, I would draw beautifully with charcoal on stone. And I'm like, well, okay, so we're going to get some charcoal and some stone, and we're going to do that. And he's just making fun of me and all that. But we're going to try. And it's probably not going to look great because neither of us are super talented with that. So just so you know. Okay, right. I think that's a joke from Joffrey. New government rule: don't stock up on cheese and sausage except in a worst case situation. Brett in the worst way. What advice Yeshua have for those who self-harm and or feel they have no purpose in life? Share, he's saying. Your voice needs to be heard. So don't think you are alone in this. If you never share, if you never ask for help, you never know. So that's the most important thing right now, to know that you're not alone and to find that connection somewhere. It's okay to want to connect with other beings. And I think that maybe for a legal way, we should share the number for the suicide. And
well, it's different for each country, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's good to look it on Google and get a number for your country for the suicide line.
If that occurs to you.
Yes.
To get support that way.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be a Rembrandt or a Picasso. That's no God. He's saying it will be a Yeshua.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he made me say that. I think it's time for me to leave.
What are those letters in the drawing? It's a light language.
Yes, it's a light language to awaken him inside you. your awareness of him inside you. So you can connect to him. So that's his name, we'll say, in you. Yeah, at least someone laughed with your joke. He's like, I know my girl Erica. She got me. Okay.
All right.
So we'll see you guys tomorrow and after, and on Friday for our...
Yeah, Friday's back here on YouTube. Live for everyone. Tomorrow and Sunday on Patreon.
So we'll see you very soon, guys. We love you. Thank you so much. Yeshua is saying that he loves you too.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.